Welcome to Sacred Magic. Violet is on a quest to bring sacredness back into our everyday experiences. Anyone can have an extraordinary life when they are able to tap into their sacred magic within. Violet and her guests will be sharing their divine passions, inspirations, and stories of connecting with their sacred magic. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Violet Rain.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sacred Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Violet Rain, and I'm so excited today to have as our guest Naylin Amanda. Naylin is a shamanic practitioner. She has over 20 years of experience in shamanic energy healing. She's a seasoned practitioner in the field of energy medicine. Her extensive work and initiations into the Q'ero Incan Shaman lineage of Peru have equipped her to facilitate effective and transformative healing practices. As a shamanic healer, she's able to address a wide range of concerns, including childhood trauma, grief, ancestral lineage healing, shadow work, toxic relationships, balancing the divine masculine and feminine, sacred womb healing, and starseed DNA activations. Wow, that's a whole big list, Naylin. Congratulations and welcome to the
Yeah.
show.
Thank you, Violet. Thank you for having me today. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you on here. What led you to do this type of work? Because I'm sure you didn't come into this world all excited to do that. I find that we're all guided along pathways. So talk to us a little bit on how you were guided to do some of this work.
You know, I think one of the biggest forks in the road for me to get into the shamanic path was a diagnosis of a chronic illness. And I think it's actually pretty common with a lot of people when you go through a life-changing chronic illness or there's a near-death experience or some kind of crisis. It kind of is that catalyst or that initiation that can set you off on this path of wanting to go deeper within inside yourself and take a journey of self-discovery on a soul level. So that's my story, and that's how it started with me. And I call it kind of like a revolution of the micro self. So I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and that's where it all really started for me to go deeper into healing modalities and learn energy medicine practices.
So, talk to us a little bit about your work, because as you got led into these shamanic practices, I'm sure there were choices you made on what directed you, because I know working with different shamans, they all have different perspectives. They work with different tribal or traditions or that sort of thing. So, what led you to work with the ones that you worked with, and what was that? How was that experience?
Yeah, so I started working with the Q'ero Incan shamans that live in the high Andes mountains of Peru. And let me touch on that just a little bit here, a little background with the Q'ero. See, they live in what is referred to as cloud villages or villages of the clouds. And so if you think of our beautiful mountain here, Pikes Peak, that's at about an elevation of about 14,000 feet. And that's about where you'll find the Q'ero living and thriving. And sometimes it's even higher in elevation than the 14,000 feet. And that's significant because when the Spanish conquistadors started to sweep the region of Peru, they weren't able to access the Q'ero people. So the Q'ero shamans, which are often referred to as Pacos also, so you may hear that word, um, they were able to retain their deep healing knowledge and wisdom and traditions. And they kept it untainted from external influences for hundreds of years. And they really do have extensive knowledge into the light body or the human energy field, the chakra system. So, I started with working with them, as I began to understand that part of my RA symptoms, my rheumatoid arthritis symptoms, were manifesting because of old traumas, childhood traumas, past life traumas. And I needed to figure out how to release that stuff. And that really is what set me on my journey to finding this lineage. And I can't even say that I found them. It's more like it came to me. And that's how I got into it. I just followed my inner guidance. The teacher appeared, Shaman John Whitehorse out of Santa Fe, and he introduced me to the lineage. And we travel down there about once a year to work with the Q'ero, and we take groups of people with us to really do a deep dive into working with them and doing ceremonial practices with them. Yeah, so it's really all about, my chronic illness kind of put me on that path and looking for, it was a challenging journey. And there was just, significant challenges and obstacles that I faced that traditional treatments could not resolve. So it led me down this path of going deeper, wanting to know myself, my inner world on a soul level. And for those of who are listening who've been diagnosed with a chronic illness, know how disruptive it is to your life on every aspect, and how just completely disempowering that kind of diagnosis is. And that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm doing the work that I do, because I've really been able to establish this whole plethora of energy medicine practices to bring about deep healing and inner healing. And I think that it should be shared. I've been symptom free and completely off medication for over 5 years. So that's a really beautiful thing that I can actually share here and say, because when I was initially diagnosed, I was told it would get worse throughout my life. It'd be debilitating, and I'd be on like chemotherapy drugs for the rest of my life. So yeah, so here I am.
Kind of a miracle, huh? Magic
Yeah.
and healing and all of that, right? Of
Mhm.
and I'm sure you found, like many have found, that a lot of times our illnesses and diseases are connected to emotions and deep pain and thoughts and that sort of thing. And when we can really get to the root cause of things, we can really learn, be aware, and kind of clear some of that so that we can be more healthy.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, my experience with chronic illness, it affected every aspect. It completely turned my life upside down. And when I say every aspect, I'm really talking in terms of the spiritual body, the mental, the physical, and emotional bodies, our subtle bodies that make up our light body or our energy field. And physically, through my chronic illness, I wasn't able to perform simple acts of daily living anymore. I couldn't clean my house. I couldn't walk my dog. I could barely take a trip to the grocery store. And I had to leave my job, and it was very hard. Mentally, I was depressed and feeling alone and isolated, disempowered. Um, Mentally, all of my thought patterns, everything that I thought, and the decisions that I made revolved completely around this chronic illness. And then spiritually, it was like, what's happening? What's my future going to look like? And I didn't want to be a burden to my family or society. So yeah, it really was stripping away at every aspect of my life. And it's like you said, there reached a point where I'm like, what is really happening here on a deep soul level? And that's when I started to understand that the childhood trauma, past life persecution wounds, um, really did play a role in manifesting this disease. And that's where the shamanic healing came in. I also started to incorporate meditation practices, mindfulness practices, shamanic journeying. I did some self Reiki healing, sound healing. And it's like all these beautiful things that we have, that are out there, these holistic therapy practices. I just started to, incorporate them into my life a little bit at a time, getting used to, the meditation and the breath work. It takes practice. But I just started doing that. And then, before I knew it, I had this big toolbox of things that I could go to, of these tools that I could go to. And it just became really natural that whenever I would start to notice an imbalance in any part of my mental body or emotional body, I knew what to do. And this is really how I birthed shamanic Reiki.
I love that. I love that. I think we're all here to do healing, whether it's healing for ourselves, our past lives, our family, our ancestors. I really believe everyone that's on the planet today is here to clear and release and heal a lot of layers that we've been carrying for a long, long time. And so I just think that's so important. So share with us a little bit, what is shamanic energy healing?
So I think shamanic energy healing is really, it's a cleaning. It's a cleaning of the light body. So it can wash away traumas and injuries, and help to release pain and find freedom. So I think that's the best way that I can describe shamanic energy healing. It's just really a deep cleaning. Um, and it's almost like, we wash our bodies every day. We take care of our physical bodies, our physical hygiene. And it's really kind of the same thing. It's that cleaning, that keeping the energy body, to where it can really work in its fullest function, that get those chakras so they can, really spin and have our auric field clean so that we're able to be our souls, our intuitive selves, and bring in our higher selves with clarity. And because we are just all energy beings that are walking around having, a human experience. So I think it's important to nurture and to keep our energy bodies clear. And that's really what shamanic energy healing does. And so the work that I do, I think that people keep a hold of that trauma or injury in like three ways. And this is what I find as I do my work. So I have people that come in and they may be consciously aware. So their injuries or the trauma is being stored, but they're very consciously aware of it. And they may know when they had specific moments of like negative experiences or specific childhood traumas, or it's like an accumulation of just everyday stress, and they're very conscious of that. So they come in and they're like, this is what I need to work on, but they just need me to like hold a safe space for them and hold an environment that's conducive for their healing. So that's one way that energy can get kind of stored in our light body. It's consciously. The other way is subconsciously, where people aren't really sure what is causing some of their emotional imbalances, or they may have unexplained fear. So they know the symptoms of something that's happening. They know the symptoms of some kind of trauma or injury, but they're just not really sure of how it got there. So it's being stored on an unconscious level. And what I'm able to do then is welcome them into a sacred space of healing, where they can really, with compassion and safety, they can acknowledge those experiences, because what will happen is they'll start to gain insight on really where those roots are of when those traumas started to begin, and they can recognize and then release that. The third one is like unintentional negativity. So this is what we would refer to often as like a psychic attack. So that kind of energy can come in, and it's like a negative attachment or thought form from somebody else, and that can really affect how a person thinks or feels. And sometimes we're not always aware of being a psychic attack, but sometimes I do have people that come in and say, I know that somebody's sending me some bad vibes. And so we're able to really take a look at that closely. cut those attachments, and create a plan so those attachments don't come back. Yeah, so this is all really beautiful work, and it's very, very deep healing for a lot of people.
I love that. I love that. And the third one, I think, shows up so often where somebody's jealous or they've gotten upset with you, and a lot of times, sometimes we don't even know that we upset someone. We don't know that we said something that was taken the wrong way, or we took an action that really upset someone. What I find quite often is people aren't comfortable coming to someone and saying, "Hey, that hurt my feelings," or "Hey, when you said this is how I perceived it." And a lot of times those miscommunications, that wasn't even the intention of what was said. It wasn't even the intention of the action. I find it very interesting how some of that happens. And, people talk about, oh, they're sitting down and they've really attacked me. And an attack can be just a thought of, hey, I'm jealous, or hey, I didn't like what happened there or what was said. And you may not even be aware that that's occurring. Sometimes we are, right? Sometimes we see those shifts in energies, but sometimes we're not even aware. And that can happen in families, friendships, workplaces, all around, that can happen. And that can really impact us a lot of times on our journey. So, just being aware of that. So I know you teach training on shamanic Reiki. There are lots of different Reiki programs, as you're well aware. You can get, I think the last time I did research, there was 70 plus different types of what we call Reiki healing.
Mm.
And I know, as a teacher of Reiki, and I have several Reiki programs, every one of them is different, but similar, right? There's some differences and some similarities. So, talk to us a little bit on how shamanic Reiki is different than other Reiki programs, and who might be attracted to that specific program.
So the shamanic Reiki certification that I offer it's a combination of the Usui Reiki lineage and the shamanic practices of the Q'ero Incan Shamans. So that kind of sets my shamanic Reiki apart from others. It's got these really specific and powerful lineages, and the students, who come through to be practitioners will receive direct initiation into both of those powerful ancient healing lineages. Um, so it's basically what I offer also in these courses are the shamanic practices like shamanic journeying. It's a big emphasis on getting to know your spirit teams and work with spirit teams and the unseen realms, also spirit helpers. Whenever you're working with a client and just you need some extra assistance with really finding root causes, for a client and needing some of that wisdom, it's I teach how to access those unseen realms, how to build relationships with helping compassionate spirits. So shamanic journeying is a big aspect of shamanic Reiki. But I also integrate a lot of these other holistic healing modalities. So, the practitioner can really help a client recognize and release traumas on all levels, so they can release their pain and find freedom. So, there's also like meditation and breath work incorporated into the shamanic Reiki. So, a practitioner will be able to help a client reach a specific outcome, such as just becoming more centered, more relaxed, grounding. That's in there too. The importance of being grounded. Um, so I also will teach how to set up sacred space, and making sure that this not only the space is set up for safety and compassion, but also to make sure that the healer, the practitioner, is working out of a space that's safe and compassionate to really set up the healing room before a client even arrives, so that when they come in, it's all ready to go. The practitioner will get to know themselves on a deep level. And that's really where the first level starts. It's level 1, which is a, self-healing course, so that the healer, the practitioner, can get to really begin to understand the inner workings of their own energy body. And then once they start to do that, they'll be able to see and reflect in their clients and understand where their clients are coming from, and really bring a sense of compassion and build that trust and relationship. So it's 4 levels that I offer. It's like very similar to all the other Reiki classes that are out there. It's, level 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, the first one, which we were just talking about, is, the self-healing. And then it just progresses, incorporating more in-depth knowledge about, the chakra system and the aura, the 4 subtle bodies, that mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. And because I think that's really key when you're able to really go deeply to that micro self and start understanding how your spiritual body works or your mental thought patterns work. I think it's when true healing can occur. So there's a lot of tools in shamanic Reiki to, really get into that mental body and balancing it out, or the emotional body and balancing it out, and releasing, traumas and injuries. So, up to level 4, that's the last level. That's the master teacher level, for, those who really want to go deep and learn to give off the Reiki attunements to their students, so that, their students can begin to channel Reiki, life force energy, and teach shamanic practices. Psychopomp work even comes into play there on the 4th level. So psychopomp is learning how to work with the dead and crossover, dead people, which is, I think, really important also, because it is, they're people too. So I think, working with the dead people is really an act of compassion, and also helps the living. Level 4 also starts to incorporate ceremonial practices, healing practices of the Q'ero. Level 4 practitioners receive rites and initiations of the Q'ero lineage. And they'll also get to practice on other students, just passing on those Reiki attunements and giving off Reiki symbols.
I love that. I love that. You've talked several times about journeying. For people that are new to these terms, because we're using lots of terms, what is the difference between a meditation and a shamanic journey?
Well, let me start with one of the similarities, because this is really important. Setting intention. You don't always need to really set an intention with meditation, but it helps to set intentions. And it's definitely something you want to do before shamanic journeying. One of the differences is with meditation and shamanic journeying. Journeying is really, you set your intention to work with specific spirit teams. Okay, and then you can start to drum or rattle to alter your mental state to reach a kind of almost like an alternate state of consciousness for specific purposes. If you're looking for a specific answer on healing, you may already have a spirit guide that you go to for questions on healing. So it's really getting to, shamanic journeying is really getting to understand your helpers on the other side, and then meet with them through shamanic journey and have conversations with them.
I love that. I love that. With meditation, we can be guided or unguided. Shamanic journeying, what I've noticed in those patterns is some of it's guided, some of it's not guided. There are different ways to do it depending on whether they want you to be led in your own consciousness and that, or whether they're going to guide you through something so that you can find answers. So I always find it fascinating. They're very much similarities, but also differences in those practices. So definitely for those people, you have a lot of people, I'm sure you come across that too, that say, I can't meditate because I can't shut down my mind. I can't be in that space unless somebody's guiding me. And I don't know what you found to be helpful, but I think it also takes lots of practice.
It absolutely takes a practice. That's just one of those things where it's almost like you'll be practicing, and one day it's just gonna kind of fit, and you're gonna be like, oh wait, I really am meditating. And it's not about stopping your thoughts. It's about recognizing your thoughts and letting them come and go, like clouds in the sky. So meditation is really beneficial for learning to calm the mental rumination and just become more aware of your thoughts. It's not stopping thoughts. It's just kind of like becoming aware of your thoughts and emotions. And emotions are okay too, right? We're not trying to control emotions. We're just trying to understand what is behind the emotion. So meditation is also beautiful for building relationships with spirit teams, because it helps expand the intuition, so that they can come in a little bit closer to you as you settle your mind and settle your body. So meditation is great for many things.
I love that. I love that. Naylin, share with us a little bit some of the things that you offer and how people can connect with you or get in touch with you.
So I offer shamanic Reiki, or classes through certification. And that is, I have a lot of events coming up. I'm building my 2025 schedule, but I do have some classes. I have a level 1 starting December 1st. And that's really just a 1-day certification. So it's just, it's really beautiful and simple, and really get you started in the right direction with, self-healing and understanding the light body on a deeper level. So that's December 1st. You can find more information, and as I build my 2025 classes, on shamanicreiki.com. I also have them listed on Eventbrite. So that's my shamanic Reiki classes. And I do also one-on-one. So if you don't want to do a group and just want to really just work one-on-one and be really personal, and where we can go deep with your own natural abilities and what kind of you want to learn, we can do that. So check out shamanicreiki.com for more information on one-on-one, and you could do that virtual or in person. And then I also offer my shamanic energy healing sessions. And yeah, it's basically almost anything that that you want to heal, any kind of traumas or injuries. You bring that intention, and we will sit and we will talk, and we'll get you nice and comfortable and relaxed. You'll be in a safe, sacred space, for the healing to occur. And yeah, it's like I can been doing some ancestral lineage healing recently, and that's been really cool, because we've been able to track lineages back through multiple generations, and find causes of some behaviors that are now coming down to the current generations, and we've been able to heal that. So the ancestral lineage is there. Sacred womb healing is really special. That's for women who have experienced miscarriages, abortions, molestation, rape, things like that. So I'm able to really hold a beautiful, safe, compassionate, sacred space for women who need that kind of healing. Feelings of shame and grief are a common, I think, feeling for all of us to experience at some point in our life. So I can do some work around there. But if you check out naylinamanda.com, that all the information's on my website. If you've not worked with me before, then we can set up a free discovery call and just have a chat and make sure that we fit and we can work together. Yeah, so it's and also offer ceremonies. So things like despacho ceremonies, healing ceremonies, celebration of life ceremonies, house blessings and clearings, all the shaman stuff there, where we just really can get in and work with spirit.
I love that. I love that. Such great offerings. Thank you so much for being on the show and taking the time to connect with us this morning.
Thank you so much, Violet.
It's been lovely. Thank you for watching, listening, whatever platform you are using today. We hope that you will like, comment, and follow us on your favorite platforms. And we look forward to reconnecting with you with another show. I hope you have a sacred, magical week. And thank you so much for hanging with us today.